New York City is loud enough to make you believe nobody is lonely. Millions of people, millions of conversations, millions of lives moving at full speed. But if you stand still long enough, you begin to notice something terrifying. Most people aren't really seeing each other anymore. Everyone is busy surviving, busy chasing money, deadlines, notifications, validation. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, humanity quietly disappears. Every morning before sunrise, the city already sounded exhausted. Subway brakes screamed beneath the streets. Coffee shops filled with people too tired to speak. Delivery drivers raced through red lights trying to make impossible schedules. Construction workers stood silently with paper cups of burnt coffee. Everyone looked awake, but almost nobody looked alive. People moved through each other like ghosts, fast, efficient, emotionally numb. At the edge of a crowded Manhattan sidewalk sat an old blind man named Elias. Most people never asked his name. To them, he was just another homeless man beside another subway entrance, part of the scenery, like a trash can or a broken newspaper stand nobody bothered fixing anymore. But Elias hadn't always been invisible. 30 years earlier, he worked construction in Brooklyn. Back then, his hands were strong enough to carry steel beams for 12 hours straight. He helped build luxury apartment buildings he would never be able to afford living inside. He remembered sunsets reflecting off skyscraper windows. He remembered laughing with coworkers during lunch breaks. He remembered what sunlight looked like. Then one afternoon, everything changed. A steel cable snapped high above the construction site. Men started screaming. Metal crashed. Glass exploded. And when Elias woke up in the hospital, the world was gone. Not dark, not blurry, gone. Permanent blindness. Doctors called it an accident, but to Elias, it felt more like exile. Like life had quietly removed him from the world, while everyone else kept moving forward. At first, people tried helping him. Old coworkers visited, neighbors checked in. His wife stayed strong. For a while. But tragedy has a way of exhausting people slowly, especially when it never leaves. Medical bills grew larger. Arguments became more frequent. Silence filled the apartment more often than conversation. One day, his wife packed 2 suitcases and left a note on the kitchen counter. "I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore." After that, the loneliness truly began. Years passed. Savings disappeared. Friends disappeared. Opportunities disappeared. Eventually, Elias ended up on the streets. Not because he was lazy, not because he was dangerous, but because modern society has very little patience for broken people. Every morning, Elias sat beside the same subway entrance with the same cardboard sign. "I am blind. Please help." Technically, the sign told the truth, but truth alone rarely moves people emotionally. Most pedestrians passed without slowing down. Some dropped spare coins into his aluminum cup while avoiding eye contact entirely. Others acted like he didn't exist at all. Then one cold October afternoon, someone finally stopped. Not a wealthy businessman, not a politician, not a content creator filming charity videos for social media views. Just a tired delivery driver trying to survive New York like everyone else. His name was Matteo, 23 years old, working 3 delivery apps at the same time. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub. Sleeping 4 hours a night, trying to help his mother pay rent after his father died. He understood exhaustion. He understood invisibility. And maybe that's why he noticed Elias. Mateo slowed his bike near the subway entrance and stared at Elias for several seconds. The old man sat motionless in the cold wind. The cardboard sign rested near the aluminum cup. "I am blind. Please help." Mateo stared at the sentence quietly. Something about it bothered him. Not because it was dishonest, because it felt incomplete. The sign explained Elias's condition, but it didn't make people feel Elias's reality. And human beings rarely act because of information alone. People act because emotion moves them. Mateo parked his bike beside the sidewalk and slowly walked toward Elias. Without saying anything, he carefully picked up the cardboard sign. A nervous thought crossed Elias's mind. Please don't take it. That sign was all he had left. But something about the young man's silence felt gentle. So Elias stayed quiet. Mateo reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a black marker. Then he flipped the cardboard over and began writing slowly, carefully, deliberately. 30 seconds later, Mateo placed the sign back beside the aluminum cup, then quietly said, "Take care of yourself, sir," and disappeared back into the moving crowd. At first, nothing happened. People continued rushing past. Taxi horns screamed through intersections. Subways rattled beneath the pavement. The city remained emotionally indifferent. Then slowly, something changed. The footsteps around Elias began slowing down. Not many at first, just a few. Then more. People started stopping. Some stood silently reading the sign. Others suddenly looked emotional. One woman covered her mouth with her hand. A businessman removed his headphones and stared down at Elias. Then came a sound Elias almost never heard. Paper bills. Not coins. Bills. $5 bills. $10 bills. 20s. One after another. The aluminum cup filled faster than it ever had before. But the money wasn't the most surprising part. It was the sudden warmth in people's voices. A woman whispered softly, "I'm so sorry." A teenager handed Elias a hot coffee and quietly said, "You deserve better than this." An older man placed a winter scarf over Elias's shoulders. Someone asked if he had eaten today. Another person asked if he needed help finding shelter. For the first time in years, people weren't looking through him anymore. They were finally seeing him. And Elias could feel it, without seeing a single face. As the sun slowly disappeared behind Manhattan skyscrapers, the air turned colder. Streetlights flickered on. Traffic thickened. And eventually, Mateo returned. Before he could say anything, Elias spoke. "Young man," his voice trembled slightly, "what did you write on my sign?" Mateo smiled gently. "I didn't change your message. I just changed the way people felt it." Mateo picked up the cardboard sign and slowly read the words aloud. Today is a beautiful day, but I can't see it. Silence filled the space between them. Elias reached out carefully with trembling fingers and touched the cardboard softly. A tear rolled down his cheek. Not because of the money, not because his problems disappeared, but because somebody finally reminded the world he was still human. Nothing about Elias's reality had actually changed. He was still blind, still poor, still surviving day by day in one of the richest cities on earth. The facts remained exactly the same. Only the words changed. And yet, those few carefully chosen words opened thousands of closed hearts. Because words are never just words. Words shape emotion, perspective, memory, reality itself. One sentence can destroy somebody's confidence for years. Another sentence can save a life. Human beings are emotional creatures, pretending to be logical ones. Most people don't change because they receive new information. They change because something finally makes them feel deeply enough to care. And maybe that's what the world is starving for now. Not more content, not more outrage, not more people screaming opinions into the internet, but genuine human connection. A reminder that behind every stranger is a life as painful and complicated as our own. The exhausted cashier, the lonely old man, the immigrant delivery driver, the woman crying quietly on the subway. Every person you pass is fighting something invisible. So choose your words carefully, because long after people forget what you looked like, they will remember how your words made them feel. And someday, without even realizing it, a simple sentence you say might become the reason somebody keeps going. If this story touched you, take one moment today to be kinder to someone invisible. Because sometimes, the smallest words create the biggest miracles. And if you believe the world still needs compassion, follow for more stories that remind us how to be human.
If this story inspired you, subscribe to Brutal Truth Animated. New cinematic stories every week about discipline, growth, and real change.